Hello and welcome to Box Delights. In this video I wanted to give you a tutorial on Strat-o-matic baseball. This is a baseball simulator. A lot of people play this solo, but of course it's two-player, one team against another team. And I'm going to demo with 2014 Kansas City Royals versus the Chicago White Sox. Now if you don't know how to play baseball, I'm just going to start you off with a quick rundown of what we need to do. The game parts are going to be basically a team of 9 or 10 players. These tokens here are going to represent runners in a diamond, and then we've got some dice that are going to represent the pitch thrown, the batter's response, and then this split dice which indicates the results of some kind of split. Alright, if there's a split decision, okay, whether it's a single or a double. Okay, so let's first talk about picking our team. If we look at a baseball diamond, we have the home plate here. Alright, and behind the home plate you've got a fielder called the catcher, and you've got a guy called the pitcher throwing the ball to the hitter. Okay, this is our man who's in the batter's box hitting. His job is to hit the ball and run the bases, and we're going to run counterclockwise or anti-clockwise to first base. And there's a fielder here called the first baseman. On to second base. Well, there's a second baseman. Often this guy's standing to the left or the right or a little bit back, depending on how the infield's set. On further to third base, and there's a third baseman normally standing pretty close here. Okay, now there's a foul line that runs this way. Okay, any ball hit this side of the foul line, it's called a foul ball. Everything else has to be in play. Okay, now out in the field, patrolling this zone are the outfielders. We've got our left fielder, our central fielder, and our right fielder. Okay, there's one more infielder. He's a guy who normally sits around here, and he's called the shortstop. And he may be a little bit further this way, depending on where the second baseman is. Alright, so there's our field. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 players in a team of baseball. Now I said you could have 10. There's two leagues. There's the American League and the National League. If you're playing American League rules, they add another player called the designated hitter. When these guys are batting, you're going to bat 1 to 9, and you need to set your batting order 1 to 9, kind of like cricket, right? But if you're playing National League rules, this guy who's throwing the ball, the pitcher, is going to have a space in this lineup, normally down the bottom, normally the 9th hitter. If you're playing American League, then you have a designated hitter who hits in place of this pitcher, and he's normally pitching around 4, 5, 6 slot. Okay, depends on the lineup. Alright, so that's the fundamentals. We've got to pick these guys, and we've got to pick guys, and just like other team sports, different players will play better at different positions. These are the positions they're used to playing, and this may depend on whether they're left-handed, right-handed, how good their throwing arm is, how quick they are off the bases, that kind of stuff. Okay, so let's pick our teams. Remember, these guys fielding are also going to be batting. Now there's two sides to these cards. We've got a whole series of cards in a team. Some of these are going to be pitchers, some are going to be centre fielders, left fielders, first baseman, second baseman, and so on, shortstops. Alright, and the card will tell you which position they play. If we look here, you can see that this guy, Alcides Escobar, is a shortstop. We've got SS written here. Okay, let's find another one. Nori Aoki. Aoki is a right fielder. He has RF written here. You can also play left field, LF. Alright, but this is called the advanced side of the rules. We also play a basic game. Basically, Strat-o-matic is 3 games in one. You've got the basic, the advanced, and the super advanced. I'm going to try and introduce you to the rules little by little. If we turn over the cards, we've got this black and white, and they used to be blue and white in some of the older sets. And this is the basic game, alright, and this is only used in the basic game. When you move to advanced and super advanced, we're going to use the other side. So in this case, the position is written in a different place. So here we've got Alcides Escobar as a shortstop. It's written here, and he's a good shortstop. He's like a class 1, right? He's a good shortstop. If we look at Nori Aoki, he can play primarily right field. He's 3, so not quite as good as Alcides Escobar at shortstop, or left field, a 3. All right, so this is their fielding rating. But then down the bottom you've got their 2014 batting record. So this is Nori Aoki as he was in 2014. Okay, and baseball's all about the numbers, all about the stats. So I mean, this series is going to be for people who don't really know the game that well, particularly us folks over here in the UK. I mean, I've been supporting the Royals, Kansas City Royals, since 2005. I think was the first game I went to. So 10 years. So I know a little bit, not that much. I know a little bit about the KC Royals in the last 10 years. That's about it. Okay, so batting record. This says .285. Normally you're looking for around a .3 is like a good batting average. What that means is 28.5% of the time this guy's going to get a hit and get on base. Okay. This is how many at-bats they've had, 491. You've got to remember, these guys are playing 163 games a season maximum. These guys are going to have some breaks. The season runs from April through end of September, and then you've got the postseason in October, which is kind of like the playoffs when you have this knockout stage. 163 games a season, and they're normally looking at 3, 4 or 5 at-bats per game. Alright, so if you think 4 at-bats a game, you can see this guy's batted probably a good proportion of those 163 games. 2B, this tells you how many doubles he's got. When he's hit and he's managed to run, if he runs from the home plate all the way around to second base, then that's a double. If he runs from home plate to first base, that's called a single. A little rarer is running all the way from home plate all the way around to third base, and that's called a triple. And then you've got a home run where you hit and the ball goes out of the park and you go all the bases. I mean, you could run all the bases. Sometimes they have like an inside the park home run, but normally that's off an error if one of these outfielders makes an error. Okay, so that's what these means. So he's had 22 doubles, 6 triples, and 1 home run. And then you've got RBIs, 43 RBIs. It's not bad, not wonderful. I mean, the best guys are getting over 100 RBIs a season. So this is RBIs is runs brought in. What that means is when you have an at bat and you hit, or even a sacrifice, then if another player is on base and scores, that's called an RBI, right? A run brought in. You've hit the ball, or you've made a play that's allowed one of these guys on base to cross the line and score a run. But then you've got a home plate here, and then that extends upwards, so you end up with this vertical box, which is called the strike zone. The pitch comes in, and if it comes outside of this thing 4 times, then without this guy swinging on it, that's called a ball. 4 of those and you get on base. So this is a measure of how well a batsman can read the pitcher and know if the ball's coming into the strike zone or not. And this is a strikeout. 49 strikeouts. This guy struck out 49 times in 2014. And that's because, you know, you've heard the phrase 1, 2, 3 strikes and you're out. 3 balls that go through the strike zone or get called as strikes, or if you swing on a ball, alright, even if you swing and it's outside the strike zone, that's a strike. That's called a swinging strike. And also on the first 2 strikes, if you hit it over the foul line, okay, this is called foul back. So if you swing, hit the ball, and it goes over the foul line, then that's also considered a strike. If you've got 2 strikes on the 3rd strike, if you hit it a foul, then that doesn't count as a ball or a strike, right? You just keep playing, and the idea here is for the batsman to wear that pitcher down. All right, anyway, that's enough of that. We've got some on-base percentages and some slugging percentages here as well, but we'll save those numbers. All right, you can learn about those things better. But for now, all we need to know is we need 9 players, right? We need 9 fielders and a DH because we're going to be playing American League rules. When it comes to the pitchers, you've got 2 choices. If you see here, you've got starter and relief. I know this is a pitcher because it says pitching card here. All right, he's a pitcher. He's a 2 pitcher. That means how good he is at fielding in the pitcher's position. Fielding in the middle here. Not how good he's at throwing the ball, how good he's at fielding from there. All right. Now, relief pitchers, they come in part way through the game. We're going to have 9 innings. Okay, an inning is 3 outs. 3 batsmen get out. That's the end of an inning. Okay, 9 innings. If it's all even at the end of 9 innings, you keep playing, called extra innings, and you just keep playing until one team comes out on top. So that, it could go on to 10, 11, 14 extra innings in total. But these relief pitchers, they don't start the game. They come in and relieve a starter. When a starter, normally, I don't know, somewhere between 90 and 110 pitches, these guys are reaching the end of their game. If they've gone along, 90 pitches is still good, and that's still long. But for now, put those relievers aside. What you're looking for is starters. Some players, like Danny Duffy here, is a starter and a relief. Now my advice is, when you're trying to pick your pitcher, this is the guy who's going to be throwing the ball each at bat, is pick somebody who has had a lot of innings pitched, 227, because that tells you that, right, the manager of that team knew that this guy was good, right? The other thing you're looking for is a good win to loss ratio. How many games has the pitcher won and how many games has the pitcher lost for his team? And that's an indication of, was his team ahead or behind, and did they go on to win the game if when they were ahead when this guy was pitching. All right, so have a look at the numbers. How many home runs has he allowed? How many wins versus losses? What's his earned run average? How many runs on average does an opponent's team get off this pitcher? 3.21 is good. We've got Danny Duffy here, 2.53. His win-loss isn't so good. He throws more balls and fewer strikes. Okay. But he doesn't allow so many home runs. But anyway, we're going to go with James Shields because he's a good choice. He's a good starting pitcher. And then we've got to fill up our batting order and the rest of that fielding team. With catcher through to right fielder. Now I numbered these. These are going to be important when we're trying to keep a track of our score. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, 9 guys. So James Shields is number 1. Now I'm going to go through and pick the rest of my team. This is my team. So with my 9 players alongside my pitcher. Remember, I had an extra. Billy Butler is going to be my DH. He's gone off to play for the A's now. But one of my long-time favourite players from the Kansas City Royals. So I've got Perez, Hosmer, Infante, Moustakas, Escobar, Gordon, Kane, and Aoki. Billy Butler DHing. So I've got 1 player per position. The next thing I need to do is decide what order I want them to play in. This is called the batting order. And what we'll do is we'll put the player who we want to bat first on the top of a deck like this. Okay? And normally you're going to be wanting a player who gets on base a lot to go first. So I'm looking for the player with a good on base percentage. If you're not sure, just look at on MLB.com and figure out what did the manager do when he was picking a team. Right, we're done. So I've got my 9 cards, and now we need to set up a score sheet. I'm going to do the same for the White Sox in a bit, but I just want to run through doing it once. So you can print out proper score sheets, But what I'm going to do here is write my batting order down here like so. Kansas City, they're set, ready to start. Alright, we're going to call in the home team. So we're going to be playing it the Kaufman Stadium. Now let's set up the Chicago White Sox. Okay, that's Chicago done. I've got Jose Quintana pitching. Not the best pitcher, but I wanted to show you different setups. I had a bit of trouble with left field and designated hitter, so Kaneko's right down there batting 7th. And then I don't know what happened to Diaza and Adam Dunn. They're not in here. Anyway, they must have got traded away or something. I'll have to look that up. I'm sure you guys will tell me. Anyway, there's our visitors team, Chicago White Sox. As visitors, they're going to go into bat first.